Honest, direct, and productive. That's how the president is describing a meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. We have an update on the agreement reached to end that country's nuclear program.
One Wisconsin school district's taking significant steps this fall to ease their parents' security concerns.
And there's an effort to improve communication between the Janesville police and the city's black community. The news starts now.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, 6 o'clock now on this Tuesday, June 12th. We keep just seeing these sleep-in worthy shots from outside.
Because you can't see anything.
It's not very motivating.
It's not motivating at all.
No. If you were looking for something to get you out of bed, well,
this is not it.
No, not it, but I'm going to show you anyway, just so you can see
what
it's
to
like.
Stay in a
or
little
not
bit.
see. This is the sky cam shot. Low clouds in the area. The fog's not right at the ground here at the station, but lots of low clouds definitely blocking our shot this morning. Visibility is an issue, though, south and west of Dane County, where it's down to 1/4 of a mile in Monroe, just a 1/2 mile in Platteville. A little bit of improvement now. Mineral Point back up to 1.5 miles. Visibility, though, will be an issue in some spots early today. Temperatures are in the mid-60s. Dew points are high, so it's a very muggy start to the day. Our day planner temperatures take us to highs right around 80, so a little bit warmer than yesterday, but there will be chances for scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through the day. Now, look at your first alert traffic this morning. We'll see what's happening on the roads. Just a little bit of activity showing up near Stoughton Road and the Beltline. A few brake lights there, but no major delays right now. No accidents around the area, which is always great news. You're traveling at posted speeds heading into Madison.
Especially concerning the fog.
Yeah, maybe want to slow down a little bit, especially through Grant County and areas south and west of Madison.
All right. Thank you, Hattie. Appreciate it.
We start the news this hour in overseas in Singapore, where President Trump is getting ready to head back. He is on his way back to the United States after announcing a historic agreement with the leader of North Korea.
So that agreement says North Korea will completely tear down its nuclear programs, but the U.S. is making some concessions as well. Leah Linscheid is here with us this morning with the latest. Good morning, Leah.
Yeah, good morning. Big news this morning. President Trump taking the podium within the last hour or so here to talk to reporters. He says North Korea is already in the process of denuclearizing, a missile engine testing site being destroyed as we speak. But this document doesn't spell out exactly how denuclearization will happen, though the president says the process will be verified by U.S. investigators. So what does the U.S. give up in this deal? Well, it's going to end joint military exercises with South Korea, something Trump calls the war games and too expensive to continue anyway. Economic sanctions against North Korea will also stay in place for now, as will the thousands of U.S. troops on the peninsula. Now, Trump says he's meeting with a team of advisors next week to go over the specifics of that plan. We're going to continue to follow this story throughout the morning, and CBS This Morning will have live coverage from Singapore that's coming up today at 7.
Certainly a lot of questions still being asked around all of this.
Lots going on.
All right. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate it.
In other news this morning, White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow is recovering at Walter Reed Medical Center after having a heart attack. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says Kudlow is in good condition. The former CNBC anchor. Last week, he joined President Trump at the G7 summit in Canada. 3 minutes after the hour, today, June 12th, marks 2 years since a gunman killed 49 people inside the Pulse nightclub in Orlando.
Gun control advocates will hold rallies around the country today to remember the victims of that shooting and call for stricter laws. Now, last night, survivors of that shooting joined with students from Stoneman Douglas High School to demand an end to gun violence. You may remember 17 people were killed at that Parkland, Florida high school back in February. Federal investigators will continue looking into a fatal plane crash in Greene County today as we start to learn more about the 4 people who died in that crash. According to the medical examiner, 81-year-old Colleen Deininger was flying that plane. Her daughter, 53-year-old Melissa Deininger-Dickman, and 2 grandchildren, 17-year-old Emma Rose and 13-year-old Alex Dickman, were also on board. They're all from Kenosha, and they were headed to Monroe to celebrate a graduation. The investigation into what caused that crash, by the way, could take up to 2 years.
A Dane County inmate's facing felony charges after he reportedly hurt 2 female sheriff's deputies. Sheriff's Department spokeswoman says 21-year-old Daniel Lennington punched those deputies, slammed one of them into a counter as he was being arrested Sunday night on disorderly conduct and bail jumping charges. Deputies eventually used a taser on him to try and get control of the situation. Those 2 deputies were both treated and released from the hospital after that incident. Students in Racine are going to have to go through metal detectors when they go back to school in the fall. The Racine Unified School District recently bought portable metal detectors and is going to be training staff and testing those metal detectors over the summer. The detectors are in response to increasing parent concerns over student safety in that district. Now, Racine's also asking for more than $600,000 to fund other school security measures, which would come from the $100 million in school safety grants the state's Justice Department is giving out this summer to Wisconsin schools.
There's an opportunity for people of color who live in Janesville to talk face-to-face with the police chief and officers there. The Janesville Gazette reports the town hall-style meetings are meant to open up lines of communication between African Americans living in the city and the officers assigned to keeping them safe. Police Chief David Moore hopes that these meetings will help build trust over time. The next meeting is set for 6 p.m. tomorrow at All Saints Anglican Catholic Church. All right, your time right now is almost 6:06, and right now, Madison police officers do not have the authority to issue citations to those misusing drones, but that could change with a new proposed ordinance.
Josh Spreiter's live at the City County building this morning with more on what that ordinance could actually mean for drone users. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. Happening tomorrow, 2 Madison City Council members are bringing that ordinance to the Public Safety Review Committee. Currently, city officials are unable to issue a citation in instances where people in Madison violate the state law. And after that state law changed in April, officials say questions were raised about privacy and surveillance. The new law prohibits local governments to have different drone regulations than that of the state. State law limits some use, like invading someone's privacy when shooting video from a drone, flying so low to the ground in an intentional act of interfering with private property, or in endangering people on the ground. And if this new ordinance were to pass, if you violate that state law within the city limits, you could face some steep fines. And I'm going to break all that down coming up just after 6:30.
The changing technology, the city laws, state laws, everybody trying to keep up with what's going on.
Exactly.
Josh Spreiter reporting live from City County building. Thank you.
6:07 right now, and every 3 months or so, we get an email from Airbnb announcing its business has grown by double digits here in Madison. Coming up later tonight, we'll get an idea of what kind of impact that's had on a key part of the city's budget.
And it's going to be more humid today. You'll feel it when you go outside today. Hattie's talking about the chance for some rain and storms when News 3 this morning continues.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. A very muggy start today, as well as a foggy one in some spots. Let's take a look, though, at our high temperatures yesterday. Mid-70s here in Madison and most of our area. Noticeably cooler along the lake in Milwaukee. 10 degrees cooler, at least 65 there, but some 80s to the north. I definitely think we're going to see a few more 80s on the map today than we did yesterday. Speaking of warmer temperatures, this weekend things are really going to heat up around here. We've issued alert days in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures will climb to near 90 with heat index values well into the 90s each day. So plan ahead. It's going to be a pretty hot and humid weekend around here. We do have the humidity this morning and a few isolated showers showing up around the area early today. It's been pretty quiet so far across southern Wisconsin. We had a little bit of drizzle early at about 4:30 this morning, but now just cloudy skies in the region. Our future track forecast model will show you that there is a potential for a few on and off showers today, or even some isolated thunderstorms. Now, if you do see any rain in your area, it's likely not going to last very long. Those showers will move through pretty quickly, and they will come to an end tonight as a cold front moves through the area. That front will take the rain chances out of the region, and it will also take the humidity as well. Temperatures across the region are pretty consistent. We have mid-60s in most spots this morning. In fact, here across southern Wisconsin, it's 68 in Boscoville, 65 in the Dells, and here in Madison, 66 in Janesville. There is some fog, though, especially south and west of Dane County, where visibility is less than a mile in some spots. So pretty tough to see in parts of Grant and Lafayette and Greene counties this morning. Dew point is in the 60s, and it's expected to climb a little bit through the day today, so plan on a muggy day. If you want a closer look at those showers that will be popping up across the area, again, pretty light shower activity and pretty short-lived in any one spot. Temperatures should be around 80 with variably cloudy skies this afternoon. Can't rule out a few showers overnight tonight, but things clear out pretty quickly by tomorrow. If you do see any of that rain today, we're likely going to see less than 1/10 of an inch, so barely enough to get the ground wet. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have temperatures that will hover near 80, but with lower humidity, Wednesday and Thursday will be very pleasant. It does heat up around here towards the upcoming weekend, and again, keep in mind, Saturday and Sunday, alert days for that high heat and humidity. Our first alert traffic update this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, quiet start on the Madison roadways. No major issues showing up on the Beltline, although, as usual, it'll probably change over the next hour or so. Other routes here in Dane County are moving well. Just a few brake lights popping up on the northbound side of Verona Road approaching the Beltline ramps. Downtown routes are moving well around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume not a factor at this point. And there's some fog hanging around the area. Just a reminder to make sure you flip those headlights on. But other main routes are cruising at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. 13 minutes after the hour, we're going to find out later tonight how much more money the city of Madison collected after increasing its taxes on hotels by 1% last fall. In October, the sales tax rate on lodging increased from 9 to 10%. In order to help the Greater Madison Visitors Bureau balance its budget, that increase, which also affects bookings through Airbnb, was projected to generate around $1.8 million in revenue for the Visitors Bureau. Tonight, we'll get exact figures from the city's Room Tax Commission. We'll try to have an update for you on News 3 at 10.
The Walworth County Board is considering asking state lawmakers to close the so-called dark store loophole that gives property tax breaks to major companies. A number of big box stores like Lowe's, Walmart, and Best Buy have petitioned local governments around the state, saying their taxes should be comparable to similar-sized buildings that are vacant or dark. Now, critics say that gives businesses an unfair break on their taxes and that local governments have lost millions of dollars as a result. Efforts to close that so-called loophole failed earlier this year at the state capitol.
We should get an idea today if there are any more tenants on the way for space inside Madison's old Oscar Mayer plant. We learned earlier this month that Total Administrative Services, or TASK, is leasing some of that space from the company that bought the property from Kraft Heinz last year. TASK works with farmers and small businesses to find tax savings and employee benefits routinely available to larger companies. The city's Oscar Mayer Strategic Assessment Committee will talk about more redevelopment options at its meeting starting at 5:30. 6:15 right now. We love people helping people stories on this program. There's a story trending on ESPN and on social media this morning of a Minnesota teenager stopping a baseball celebration to console the guy he just struck out. You will love why he did what he did.
And Hattie's helping us all morning by watching that radar. She will share our chances for some rain if you can actually see anything outside this morning when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Your first alert weather forecast this morning starts with foggy conditions, especially in southwestern Wisconsin. Here's our view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Not able to see a whole lot there. Visibility is about a half a mile in Platteville. That's been pretty consistent over the last hour. Just quarter-mile visibility in Monroe. Visibility is down to 2.5 miles in Janesville and 3 miles here in Madison. It is a very muggy start to the day and a gray one at that. No rain showing up on the radar map just yet, but there will be chances for rain on and off through the day today, right even into tonight. Here's a look at our future track temperatures. We're looking at temps climbing from the 60s through the 70s to around 80 this afternoon. Again, variably cloudy skies with a few light showers or isolated thunderstorms possible. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Hattie. It will not surprise you, Hads, that I have a new hero in life who is coming to Madison today. He's a Florida fifth grader who wants to honor police officers around the country by buying them donuts. Yes, donuts. Tyler Karach is now known also as Donut Boy. He's got his own donut cape you saw there. He's delivered more than 55,000 donuts to officers so far in 30 states. You're seeing video of him visiting a department in Des Moines yesterday. He's going to be bringing a total of 20 dozen donuts to the Madison and McFarland police departments today. He says his goal is to personally deliver a donut to every one of the 900,000 police officers in this country. Tyler says he wants to become an officer himself when he gets older. No word yet on how his cholesterol is doing.
Well, he's not eating all of them.
No, that's
not
good.
all of them,
Well,
thank
you
goodness.
figure he's got to have some.
A little snack, right?
There is a terrific story out of Minnesota this week that features really everything good about high school sports.
So you might have already seen this video. It's being shared on Facebook, other social media sites over the last few days. It is worth watching again, trust us. Pitcher Ty Kane struck out a childhood friend to send his team to state. Instead, though, of celebrating with his team on the mound, he ran over to home plate and gave his friend a big old hug. Both players say they probably won't remember the score of the game 20 years from now, but they certainly will remember that moment.
I didn't think. I just ran over there. It was instinct. It felt like the right thing to do.
He said, "This isn't on you. Like, you played great the entire game. Like, don't keep your head up. Like, you're such a great player."
Kane's teammates have been having a little fun with him with all this extra attention. You can see there giving some extra hugs, trying to steal him during practice. His coach says this is a great example of understanding that some things are just bigger than the game.
Speaking of things bigger than a game, how about the little girl who threw out the first pitch in last night's Brewers-Cubs game? We're talking about 8-year-old Haley Dawson. She's thrown out 12 first pitches already this season. She does it with a 3D printed hand. She was born with Poland syndrome and is unable to use 3 of the fingers on her right hand. So Haley had this 3D hand designed specifically for her to be able to have a grip a baseball while her body's growing. Haley gets a new hand from each Major League team she visits with the team's logo and the players' signatures. She is scheduled to throw out the first pitch at all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums this summer. You can follow her journey on Twitter. That is Haley's_hand, Haley's_hand. It's a better story than the game last night where the Brewers lost 7-2 in 11 innings, dropped out of first place for the first time since May 1st. Even Christian Yelich likes it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. 6:22 right now. The president answered reporter questions for more than an hour after meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Leah Lynchide's here in about 5 minutes with a recap of what happened.
And Sun Prairie police are recommending people follow some of the most basic security measures after a series of thefts. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning.
We're watching two special elections across Wisconsin today that some view as an indicator of political party strength heading into the November election.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It's 6:30 right now on a very foggy Tuesday, June 12th.
Yeah, we can barely see in some of the sky cams that Hattie has been showing us. Let's see if we can see her out on the Hattie-O patio. You out there, Hads?
I am. I don't think you have any issues seeing me here. Not a lot of fog up on the hill at Channel 3, but parts of the area are socked in pretty good with fog this morning. Take a live look from the Edgewater sky cam. Definitely a hazy start to the morning here in Madison. Shades of gray all around. We have clouds in the area early today and some fog. Visibility is less than a mile south and west of Dane County. Now we're starting to see some fog pop up in areas like the Dells and Janesville as well as Viroqua. So patchy fog definitely a possibility as you're traveling around southern Wisconsin this morning. It is a very mild and muggy start to the day. We're in the mid-60s right now. Dew points are up there as well, so you can feel the moisture in the atmosphere. Now there will be a chance for a few isolated showers or even isolated thunderstorms as we go through the day today, but high temperatures should be right around 80 degrees. Now a look at your first alert traffic maps will show you that there aren't any major delays on any of the roads leading into Madison. Just a little slow on Verona Road still, around 40 miles an hour through that construction zone. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. 6:27. We start this half hour overseas where President Trump says North Korea will end its nuclear weapons program.
The two world leaders signed a historic agreement to make that happen, but that agreement does not say when or how the weapons will be destroyed. Our Leah Lynchide joins us now with more on the terms of this deal. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. Both leaders are headed home right now after a meeting that President Trump called honest, direct, and productive. Trump took the podium shortly after announcing a new agreement between the countries, committing North Korea to complete denuclearization, a promise that Trump says will be verified by U.S. investigators. The details of how that will happen exactly, though, are still murky. The exchange that the U.S. will end its joint military exercises with South Korea, something Trump has called the war games.
The past does not have to define the future. Yesterday's conflict does not have to be tomorrow's war. And as history has proven over and over again, adversaries can indeed become friends.
Also happening this morning, the demolition of a missile engine testing site on the Korean peninsula. Trump says North Korea is destroying that site right now as we speak. Now, as for sanctions against the country, they will stay in place for now, as will the roughly 30,000 U.S. troops on the Korean peninsula. Trump adding he hopes to ultimately bring those soldiers home.
We'll have full coverage on CBS This Morning coming up right after 7 o'clock. All right, Leah Lynchide, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Back closer to home, the state will be watching to see what happens when voters choose a new assembly representative and a state senator in a special election today. The 42nd Assembly District includes parts of Columbia, Dodge, and northern Dane counties. That race is led by Democrat Ann Groves Lloyd and Republican John Plummer. Now, the winner will replace former Lodi Republican Keith Ripp, who left office when Scott Walker appointed him to a position in the state agriculture department. That district has been held overwhelmingly by Republicans over the last couple decades, but Democrats are hoping to ride what Governor Walker has coined as a blue wave heading into this fall's midterms. Voters will also be able to cast ballots in the 1st Senate District today, which mostly includes Door County and areas in the northeastern part of the state near the peninsula. 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat are running in that race. Regardless of who wins either race, Republicans will maintain their majority in both the Assembly and the Senate. Polls open at 7 o'clock this morning. We will be sure to have continuing coverage as results come in and the reaction tonight on News 3 at 10.
A retired Beloit police officer set to be arraigned in Rock County Court today on charges he sexually assaulted a child. We're talking about 62-year-old Larry Woods, who was most recently working as a security guard for the Beloit School District and Beloit Library. Before that, he worked as a patrol officer for the city before retiring in 2007. On its Facebook page, the Beloit Police Department said the child's victim's mother brought information about a possible assault to detectives, and they arrested Woods over the weekend. We expect Beloit's police chief to share details with reporters around 11:30 this morning. We will try to stream that for you live on channel3000.com. Madison police are investigating a shots fired incident on the city's north side. This happened around 3 this morning, a couple blocks away from Warner Park. Officers found more than 7 bullet casings and damage to an apartment building on Troy Drive when they arrived on scene. We'll have any update on possible suspects throughout the day on News 3.
The man accused of pointing an AR-15 style rifle at Cottage Grove officers during a confrontation will be back in court this afternoon. Santiago Teniente was arrested after an hour-long standoff back in April. He allegedly threatened his child's mother with a gun, and when police were called, Teniente allegedly pointed a rifle at the windshield of the cruiser and threatened to shoot those officers who arrived at the scene. He faces a total of 7 charges, including pointing a firearm at law enforcement. He's been out of jail since the end of April. That's when he paid a $2,000 cash bail.
Charges are expected to be filed today against a New Mexico man arrested in connection with apparent drug overdose in Rock County. 26-year-old Corey Sandoval has been in the Rock County jail since last month, accused of not helping 29-year-old Dustin Grice as he was overdosing. Wisconsin law does offer some protections to those who get help in those situations, but police in the town of Beloit say Sandoval did not do that and that Grice's life could have been saved if he had. Instead, Grice was found behind an elementary school. Detectives don't think that's where he died. Charges against Sandoval have been pending while officers continue to investigate Grice's death. 6:31 right now. Madison's police department continues to encourage people to lock their doors so cars in the city don't get stolen.
That problem was so bad over the winter. Detectives launched a social media campaign called Nightly Lockup to remind people about the simple task that could save them a big headache. But it now appears that problem is spreading. The Sun Prairie Police Department is now asking people to lock up their cars when they're not occupied after a recent string of thefts. They're also reminding people to lock up their windows and doors at home and ask people to keep an eye out for any suspicious activity, like people pulling at car door handles or looking into windows. 6:32 right now. A new drone ordinance here in Madison may change the way you use your drone within the city limits.
Alders Shiva Badar-Seeloff and Marcia Rummel are going to bring their proposal to the city's Public Safety Review Committee tomorrow. Our Josh Spreiter has been looking into what the ordinance means. He's live this morning outside City County Building with the details. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. Right now, police can't cite you if you misuse your drone in Madison, but that would change if this ordinance is passed. New legislation passed in April means local governments must follow the rules of the state. The ordinance proposed by the Madison City Council members mirror state law, meaning if you violate the law, you could see some steep fines. Misuse can be anything from using a drone to invade someone's privacy, which is a $500 fine. Unlawful flying and or landing of an aircraft is a $750 fine, and using the drone as a weapon endangering others can bring fines to up to $2,000. Now, some argue city officials still wouldn't have the authority to issue those citations, but of course we'll find out more tomorrow at that Public Safety Review Committee.
Very interesting. A lot of gray areas still with these new technologies that keep getting developed here. Josh Spreiter reporting from downtown Madison. Thank you, Josh.
6:33 right now. There could be some immediate security upgrades coming to the Dane County Jail. We'll share the latest in the morning sprint.
And there's a pretty cool honor coming for a former Wisconsin Badger football player who spent pretty much his adult life, all of it, doing something good for his country. We will share the details next on News 3 this morning.
6:37 now. Welcome back to the program on this Tuesday morning, the time of the morning we always ask you to share a little bit of your morning with us. And I picked this picture by Kenton Fowler, who regularly sends us pictures. And Kenton is a brilliant photographer, but I also discovered that Kenton is the crossing guard who just retired at one of my kids' schools. So I wanted to thank him for his service, thank him, and he's going to have more time now, apparently, to get pictures along these lines, because look how pretty that is. Taken from Olin Park, just around, or Olbrich Park rather, around 4:30 a couple of weeks ago in the morning. So thank you so much, Ken, for what you do, and thank you for that picture as well.
Waning Gibbous, he said. That's excellent. It's just an amazing shot. And congrats on your retirement, Kenton. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it over on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email it to us, whatever you do. Use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. Adam and I share our favorites every morning here on the program.
6:38 almost right now. Freshmen and sophomores at UW-Madison get the opportunity to buy season football tickets later today.
It's pretty exciting. The opener is at Camp Randall on August 30th against Western Kentucky. The tickets for upperclassmen completely sold out yesterday morning. So the undergrads can sign in online with their student ID number and password starting at 7 o'clock this morning. Wake up, kids, with the window to buy tickets starting half an hour later at uwbadgers.com. All UW-Madison students can buy men's hockey tickets tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Speaking of Badger football, here's a cool story about a former Wisconsin player. Jake Wood's going to be getting the Pat Tillman Service Award at this year's ESPY. It's designed to recognize people in sports who have strong commitments to public service. Wood created Team Rubicon. It's a nonprofit that uses the skills and experiences of military veterans to rapidly respond to natural disasters. Now, he finished his time as Badger in 2004 and then served for 4 years in Iraq and Afghanistan with the Marines. Team Rubicon has since responded to more than 250 disasters in the last 8 years, now has more than 80,000 volunteers. The ESPYs will air live at 7 o'clock on July 18th on ESPN.
I hear really bad coughs coming from the Oakland, California area. Yeah, a lot of people coming down with unexpected illness, I think, today. As the 2018 NBA champion Golden State Warriors will parade through the downtown area, up to 1 million people are expected to celebrate the team's 6th title. It's the 3rd title in the last 4 years.
Maybe they're getting bored and there won't be so many people out there celebrating. 3 titles in 4 years, maybe.
Come on, it's going to be like 76 and sunny there today. Any excuse to get outside, I'm thinking.
Northern California on a
there
nice June day. Not that way here. It's sticky out this morning, more humid. It's been the last couple of days for sure. Hattie says it'll be a pretty cloudy day overall, with a chance for some rain. Her first alert forecast is coming up next.
First, though, it is June 12th. We want to say happy birthday to Emilio, Caden, and Jade, all of the kiddos turning 3 out there today. Hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching News 3 this morning.
Look who's
So our producer, Melissa Bailing, tells us this is the WISC-TV Skycam. We're going to take her word for it right now. It's completely covered. There's a lot of fog out there this morning, a lot of low-hanging clouds. Hattie McLean will let us know when all of this clears out, coming up in a couple of minutes or so.
So the rain Hattie is calling for could help clear the blue-green algae in the lakes for now, but new research at UW-Madison shows heavier rain will create more problems in the years to come. Scientists at the Center for Limnology say that the increased precipitation is a result of climate change. While not all algae is toxic, blue-green algae was spotted on Lake Mendota a few days ago. All the beaches are back open along that lake this morning. The bacteria found in blue-green algae, though, can cause people and pets to get sick or even die if large amounts are ingested. A few days coming up here, Hads, that people are going to want to get out in the lakes.
Yeah, let's hope those beaches stay open this weekend when temperatures will be in the 90s. Again, this is the WISC-TV Skycam shot this morning. We can't see anything. Low clouds in the area. Visibility here in Madison at the airport is recorded at 3 miles, 2.5-mile visibility in Janesville, but pretty low visibility to the south and west. 1/4-mile visibility in Monroe, just 1 mile in Mineral Point. Now some fog starting to develop to the north as well as you head up towards the Dells. So be aware of the foggy situation this morning. It's definitely a gray start to the day across most of southern Wisconsin. Few holes in the cloud cover to the south and east, but generally clouds in place this morning. More significant rain to our south and west. That is moving away from us. Our focus is to the north and west, where we're still seeing a little bit of rain activity this morning. Those showers in northern Minnesota are along a cold front that will work its way eastward over the next 24 hours. So out ahead of that cold front, it's going to stay pretty cloudy today, along with a few showers and very muggy conditions. Now that front tracks through late today, even into the overnight hours, so we'll keep the chance for rain in the forecast through tonight. But by tomorrow morning, clearing out, we'll look for lower humidity and much more comfortable conditions for the middle of the week. This warm front, though, approaching from the west is going to lead to some pretty hot and humid conditions as we head into the upcoming weekend. And in fact, Saturday and Sunday are alert days for the area. Both days temperatures near 90. That'll be the actual air temperature. Heat index values getting into the mid and upper 90s, though, through the weekend. So definitely going to be a pool kind of weekend. Temperatures across the area this morning: 65 in Madison and the Dells, 66 in Janesville and Mineral Point, 68 this morning in Boscobel. Dew points, though, look at these numbers, into the low and mid 60s this morning. That means it feels a little bit uncomfortable outside. Now, Future Track will show you any showers that do pop up through the day today are likely going to be pretty light and short-lived in any one spot. Some isolated rumbles of thunder will be possible, but no severe weather is expected. Temperatures will top near 80 degrees. Again, still a chance for rain overnight tonight, but by tomorrow morning, things are looking clear. Here's a look at that extended forecast then. Get ready for some pretty comfortable days on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have highs near 80, sunshine and low humidity. Humidity starts to creep back into the area on Friday and then really comes in Saturday and Sunday. Those will be alert days for high heat and humidity across the area. Looks dry for southern Wisconsin, though, this weekend. Here's a great picture of Bree in Madison, sitting amongst the dandelions there. There may be a few spotty showers this afternoon, but still in the 70s today.
Cool. The dandelions are not spotty.
No, they are all over the place, along with the allergies.
Yes, very true. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning. 6:50 now, time for the morning sprint. Hattie's calling for a warm, humid day with some chances for storms. And Josh Sprider is live outside the city-county building where the city is considering adding some steep fines for anyone breaking the rules for flying drones.
But we start overseas in Singapore. President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are celebrating what they're calling an agreement to remove nuclear weapons from the Korean peninsula. They signed a document stating North Korea would remove its nuclear weapons capabilities. In exchange, the United States will stop holding military exercises with South Korea. The president says economic sanctions against North Korea will remain in effect, and a combination of American and international regulators will be monitoring North Korea's nuclear program. There's full coverage of the summit coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS this morning.
Back in Wisconsin, the entire state will be watching to see what happens in two special elections that some say will be a sign of what's to come in the midterms. The frontrunners in the 42nd Assembly District race are Democrat Ann Groves Lloyd and Republican John Plummer. That district includes parts of Columbia, Dodge, and northern parts of Dane County. Now, voters will also head to the polls in the 1st Senate District, which includes Door County and areas just south of the peninsula. Polls open at 7 o'clock this morning for this special election. We will have results and reaction tonight on News 3 at 10.
Federal investigators will continue looking into a fatal plane crash in Greene County today as we learn more about the 4 people who died. 81-year-old Colleen Deininger was flying the plane with her 53-year-old daughter, Melissa Deininger-Dickman, and her 2 children, 17-year-old Emma Rose and 13-year-old Alex, also on board. They're all from Kenosha. They were going to Monroe to celebrate a graduation. The investigation into what caused that crash could take up to 2 years.
The Dane County Public Works and Transportation Committee will consider some security upgrades at the jail tonight. Members will talk about changing some of the locks and hardware there to simplify its security by reducing the number of different types of locks and keys that have to be used in that building. Those updates would cost the county nearly $10,000. Work on a $75 million renovation of the jail is set to start later this year.
Happening tomorrow, 2 Madison City Council members will propose a new ordinance which would affect drone users inside city limits. Right now, police can't issue citations to those misusing their drone. Alders Shiva Badar Seeloff and Marsha Rummel have proposed an ordinance allowing Madison police to cite people who violate state statutes on the use of drones. Drones are primarily regulated by the FAA, just like manned aircraft. However, in the state, some laws limit specific activities you can do with your drone. In April, state legislators passed a measure prohibiting local governments from adopting drone regulations that conflict with state and federal law. If the drone ordinance were to pass, you could face steep fines of up to $2,000 for violating the law.
And turn those headlights on this morning as you head out the door. There is some fog across southern Wisconsin. Visibility south and west of Madison around a mile or less. Also some fog developing in areas north of Dane County this morning. Temperatures are starting in the 60s with muggy conditions. We'll top in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. A few showers or isolated thunderstorms will be possible today.
Thank you, Hattie. A former Beloit police officer will make his first appearance in court today, accused of sexually assaulting a child. 62-year-old Larry Woods was most recently working as a security guard for the Beloit School District and Beloit Library after retiring for the City Police Department in 2007. We expect Beloit's police chief to share details of the allegations with reporters around 11:30 this morning. We will try to stream that for you live on channel3000.com.
Charges are expected to be filed today against a New Mexico man arrested in connection with an apparent drug overdose in Rock County. 26-year-old Corey Sandoval has been in the Rock County jail since last month, accused of not helping 29-year-old Dustin Grice as he was overdosing. Grice's body was found behind an elementary school. Charges against Sandoval have been pending while officers continued to investigate his death.
Students in Racine are going to have to go through metal detectors when they go back to school in the fall. The portable metal detectors being brought in to help ease parents' concern over school safety. The Racine Unified School District is also asking the state for more than $600,000 from the state's $100 million in safety grants being given out over the summer to Wisconsin schools.
We'll find out later tonight how much more money the city of Madison collected after increasing its taxes on hotels by 1% last fall. In October, the sales tax rate increased from 9% to 10% on the city's hotels as well as Airbnb bookings to help the Greater Madison Visitors Bureau balance its budget. It was projected to generate almost $2 million in revenue for the Visitors Bureau. The city's Room Tax Commission will get the exact figures tonight.
Green Bay Packers start their first mandatory training camp later this morning. Football season's coming.
Woo-hoo.
Practice starts at 11:30, is open to the public as long as the weather holds up there in Green Bay. The minicamp runs through Thursday. Now, fans are also going to be able to see the traveling interactive exhibit celebrating the franchise's 100th anniversary. Lambeau Field Live is going to be at the State Fair in August, here at the Taste of Madison over the Labor Day weekend.
All of the beaches along Lake Mendota are open this morning after the massive blue-green algae bloom closed them last week. New research from the UW shows that algae problems are only going to get worse in the years to come as we see more and more heavy rain. The researchers blame the increased precipitation on climate change. Blue-green algae can cause people and pets to get sick or even die if large amounts are ingested.
Sun Prairie's police department is asking its residents to lock up their cars when they're parked in the city after a string of recent thefts rather. Officers say neighbors can help each other by watching out for suspicious activity like people pulling at car door handles or just looking through car windows. They're also encouraging people to lock up their windows and doors even if they're at home. 6:56 right now this morning. There is some fog out there right now. There's some wet roads as well. Let's get a final check on your first alert traffic this half hour with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, some brake lights already showing up on the westbound side of the Beltline between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. As it continues to get busier, I would plan on a couple minutes extra at this point. Not too bad on the inbound side of John Nolan. Just one patch of slowdowns at Olin Avenue heading into the downtown area. And there's some fog hanging around, especially south of Madison. Just a reminder to have those headlights on. But other main routes, including on the interstate, they're cruising along at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And some low clouds and fog hanging around the Madison area this morning. It's definitely a gray start to the day. Temperatures are starting in the mid-60s this morning. On and off showers or isolated thunderstorms will be possible today. Temperatures, though, should still be quite mild at 80 degrees. It'll stay humid through the day today, but with a cold front moving through the area tonight, should feel much more pleasant tomorrow with temperatures back to around 80, but much lower humidity. Plenty of sun is in the forecast through the middle of the week. Then get the sunscreen ready and maybe find a pool or some water this weekend. It is going to be very hot and humid around here with highs near 90. Both Saturday and Sunday are alert days.
Yeah, per usual, you can always follow that radar or these high temperatures for yourself with our Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay dry, stay cool if you can. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.